Hello everybody. Welcome to Ranch of Rivershine. This is a video, I might title it a bit of a clickbait title of like, is Ranch of Rivershine the best horse game? But really, this video is about why Ranch of Rivershine is currently my favorite horse game. And I might get into a bit of more detail about what I mean by that, but first we're going to talk about why I call it that. So, I have made a list, and I haven't read it back through, so we'll see how good it is. I might have to re-record this. We're not going to be playing Ranch of Rivershine. I might just wander around and look at my horses. Oh, it's already making me a little dizzy. But, aww, why are you in here? So, Ranch of Rivershine, why it is currently my favorite horse game. So, to start with, it's adorable. It's going to be hard to look at the screen and look at my script. Oh, there's Bear! That's my boy. So, oh yeah, I forgot to put in my list that I like the collectibles. I really like the little collectibles. So this is Bear. He's my boy. Let's go ahead and just... He's dirty. Okay, so it's adorable. The horses are cute. The environment is quite pretty. It's fall right now, which isn't the prettiest of, but spring and summer look very, very beautiful. But overall, I wrote, the overall look is just very nice. Stylized, but still not too divorced from realism. Kind of what Star Stable Online is going for, but honestly better executed, in my opinion. I would say, so that's what I wrote, and I'll add, my additional thoughts. I would say that it is a bit more on the stylized side versus Star Stable, especially the horses are clearly, they're not going for like extreme realism, whereas Star Stable does kind of go for a type of realism with their horses, but I think the environment of Ranch of Rivershine is very comparable to the new Star Stable of all the updates they've made to the world. I think they look very similar, but honestly, I do think the environment of Ranch of Rivershine is better executed than Star Stable. And the horses, again, the horses are a bit simplified, especially versus Star Stable. But that's not a bad thing. I think they're quite cute. And people are making mods and stuff that kind of change the appearance. I was just looking at a thread in the Discord of someone who's changed the detailing texture, and that looked really good. So it's not like this is completely, static. You can, thank you Motorcycle for revving right as I'm talking. So improvements will be able to be made by players, which I don't, now, some people say with some games, oh, you can always add mods and make it better. That's not necessarily a good thing. That's not what I'm saying here is, oh, well, you can change it if you don't like it. Because I think that's a terrible way to defend a video game. Some people defend, like, Skyrim or Minecraft with, oh, well, you can do mods. It's like, no, the base game, the actual game does need to be good. And again, I'm not saying Ranch of Rivershine isn't good. I'm just saying that if it's not exactly to your taste, there are changes that can be made with mods. I have not installed any mods yet. They're looking really, really good. Some people are doing like Appaloosa patterns. Some people are doing, there's lots of really good stuff. But I haven't touched them yet because I want to wait till the game is maybe at least a bit farther along in development, but potentially just finished. So we'll see about that. But yeah, there are mods that can change the way the horses look. That's completely unrelated to my point. I'm sorry. But what button is it to get on the horse? Oh no, it's been too long since I played. E gets you on your horse. So, I guess we can, okay, yeah, this is one of my complaints is that it takes so long to zoom in. And I forgot about that. Okay, well then. So, this is gonna make people dizzy. Alright, we're not gonna do that then. Okay, sorry, I'm trying to decide how to where to be while doing this video. We're gonna go ahead and just be in the pasture. Alright, so first point, it's just really pretty. Look at these horses. Some of them are dirty, but this is a really pretty game. The horses look really good. The foals are the cutest thing ever. I have a foal over here. Let's get these gates open. So we got a little leopard foal. I don't like that you run out of stamina, but got a cute little leopard foal, just adorable. And there's a fence in front of it. Okay. A cute little, I think this is a gray dun. Yeah, silver gray dun, just so cute. And I have it named Sell because I'm going to sell it. I haven't touched this save in a while. Oh, such a pretty, like, white face. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. So yeah, very pretty game. So that's the first point. Next point is it has an addicting gameplay loop. Opinions on this will differ, and I'm just speaking from my own point of view based on what I personally enjoy in the game. While there are certainly a few failings in the gameplay, which I will try to explain later, I really like how horse training, breeding, and selling works. In my most recent game of Ranch of Rivershine, I decided I wanted to roleplay as a horse trainer. I would buy or catch low-level horses, use their full potential, maybe even get them some extra with statues, do a few races, and sell them for a profit. I personally found this extremely satisfying. So that's not this game. So that was my script. Now this is me just talking. That wasn't this game. I did do something similar with this game while I was training Bear. If you watched my live streams, while I was training Bear, I would like buy or catch a horse, and then I would train it up, and then I would sell it, and that's how I would make my money. And that was very fun. So for my next playthrough that I did while I was extremely sick, I was so sick, and I needed to play a really low-pressure game to take my mind off of how much pain I was in. It was the worst. I don't recommend catching what I caught. I'm not going to tell you what it was, because it's horrible. But it was really, really horrible. But for the first few days of that sickness, before it got, like, super bad and I couldn't do anything except suffer, I was playing Ranch of Rivershine. Because it was a very nice, low-pressure, slowly paced game. And you can easily pause it at any time, which was really good because I couldn't guarantee that I could sit at my desk for more than like 15 minutes at a time before I had to go do something else, and then I would come back. And I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but when you have your horses hitched, their energy refreshes. So what I would do is, when I knew I would need to be away from the computer for a while, I would get on my horse, I would hitch it, and then by the time I got back, it would have more energy, and then I could do more training or more races, and that was really good. But I don't know if that's a glitch or not. So all that to say, while I was sick, I started a new game. Hello. Hi, Buttercup. Hi, you're so pretty. Let's get you brushed. So while I was sick, I started a new game, and I decided I am not going to keep any horses in that game. I'm not going to keep my starter horse. I'm not going to keep any horses. What I'm going to do is get low-level horses, use up all their potential, do a few races, and then sell them. And I would make about $10,000 in profit, at least. It depended on how I got the horse, if I bought them or if I caught them. I'd make $10,000 of profit doing that. And it was really fun to kind of, in my mind, be like, oh, I'm a horse trainer, and I'm like... I watched this YouTuber, this horse YouTuber, who that's kind of what she does in real life, is she'll like go to auctions and she'll buy these horses that clearly have a lot of potential, and she will, take them on and train them for 1 year to 4 years, she says, and then find them a new home. She's not doing it for like a profit. Obviously, this is a video game, and we kind of have to make a profit in video games. You have to have some way of making money in these games, but she does it for the satisfaction of, helping this horse, reach its full potential, and then go to someone who will really benefit from that horse. The horse will benefit from them, they'll benefit from the horse, and it's great. So I took inspiration from what she does in real life, and I did it in Ranch of Rivershine, and it was so much fun, especially because I am someone that really likes to go through a lot of horses. I like to I have my collection here in this game. Some of these are keepers, some of them aren't. The ones with blankets are keepers, the ones without are not. But it was really fun to be able to have like all sorts of horses without the pressure of, oh, now this one's taking up a slot, and just be like, oh, well, I'm going to have this one for, a few hours, a few real life hours, train it, get it really good, enjoy it, and then it's going to go to a wonderful new home. And obviously that's all role play in my head of, where it goes afterwards. But that's what I like about this game, is that it allows for stuff like that. So, you know, I would imagine, oh, this horse went to a young, you know, a young person who this is their first horse or something, you know, like I would be able to be like, oh yeah, this horse is really good for a child, or this horse is going to be good for competitions. And in my head, I'd imagine they go to those people. And then, of course, the gameplay itself makes it very satisfying to train up a horse and sell it, because, like I said, I was making $10,000 of profit with low-level horses. Now, some people have said you can buy the high-level horses and make even more profit. That hasn't been my experience, because you're always going to pay more than what you can sell the horse for immediately. And for the low-level horses, the difference is like $500. So I might buy a horse for $2,000, and then I could immediately resell it for $1,500. But it's really easy. That's a very small gap to be able to make up for, because like you do a race or two, and then you'll make up that $500 gap. You do a little bit of training, you'll make up that $500 gap. But the gap is bigger the higher level horse you buy. So if you pay $10,000 for a horse, you might only be able to turn around and sell it for $5,000, and so it's going to take a lot more work to turn a profit on that versus a low level horse. So that was the other thing about the game that I was doing while I was sick, was I didn't upgrade any of the catching pens. I didn't buy any higher level horses. I stuck with the low level horses. I had it on story mode, and I just did the low level horses because I didn't see a point in doing any of the high level horses, because I didn't really want to do the races. The races were going to make me not feel good because I was sick. So yeah, all that to say, the game really allowed for this satisfying gameplay loop of buy or catch horse, train it up, sell it for a $10,000 to $15,000 profit, depending on what all I did with it. Because if it was a wild horse, obviously I made a bigger profit on it, in addition to it just having more potential, because like they have the 100% potential, whereas a bought horse only has like 50, 60 at most. So yeah, the wild horses were how I made my money. And I know some people like catch wild horses and immediately sell them. I have done that too, but that's not very fun to me. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to actually put the work in and be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to train this horse, and then I'm going to sell it for a profit, and it's going to go to a good home. So anyways, addicting gameplay loop, that's what that point was about. Oh, and I wrote, this brings me to my next point. The game allows for some role-playing. Even though there are quests and more coming, the gameplay is very flexible. You can play how you want. If you only want to have one horse through the entire game, you can. Using the statues, you can improve your starter horse's stats so it can compete in high-level competitions. If you want to just catch and buy horses, you can. If you want to breed, you can. But you aren't forced into any one path. Some may be more challenging than others, but you do have options. So that's what I wrote. Obviously, I kind of already touched on that. I forgot that I had written that. But yeah, so you could play like I did, where I wasn't going to keep any one horse for too long. And you could still do that. Like I stuck with the low-level horses, and I wasn't really doing competitions. I was only doing the low-level competitions to activate the statues. But you could always do that and still enter the higher-level competitions, because the horses, the higher level horses are high enough level that you could do the competitions on them. You don't have to be breeding or anything. You can even eventually catch horses that are high enough level. So you never have to breed if you don't want to. But then at the same time, if breeding is how you want to reach that higher level, you can, because the way breeding works, the baby, as long as you're breeding similarly leveled horses, the baby's always going to be better than the parents. Like if you breed, real horses that are really, really far apart in stats, then you're not going to improve upon the one that's higher than the other. But if you're breeding horses that are very similar, then the baby will always be able to be better, because the way breeding works is the baby's starting stats are just a little bit lower than the average of the two parents, but then they have 100% potential. So they won't start out better than the parents, but they can get better than the parents. So if you want to breed to get to that 100% stats, then you can. And like I also said, If you want to only have one horse through the entire game, you absolutely can. You can get that horse to be a high level if that's what you want, or don't get it to be a high level. You don't have to. Like I said, in my other game, I wasn't doing the high level stuff. I didn't care to. It was too much pressure. Like, what's the point of the high level stats if I'm not going to be doing competitions? Because honestly, the horses at high level just move too fast to even be fun to go out on a ride with. I kind of wish I'd done a backup of Bear. I have a few backup files of him, but I didn't do a backup before he was fully trained. And I'm really kind of sad about that because I don't like riding him now. I don't like riding him being fully leveled up. It's not actually quite as fun as the slower ones because I like to go out on a peaceful ride. So, yeah. So you can play how you want. If you want to breed to get better horses, you can. If you want to just buy better horses, you can. If you want to catch better horses, you can. If you want to just constantly be getting new horses, you can. Okay? It allows for... Why are you glitched? And Snowball, what are you doing? It allows for all sorts of gameplay, and that is really, really good. It allows for, like, the mental role-playing I was doing with like, oh, I'm a trainer, and I can do this and that. It allows for that, and it allows for actual, like, mechanical things of letting you do what you want. You're really pretty when you're brushed. Look at that. Imagine that. All right. So, in addition, more writing. More in my script. In addition, the story mode allows you to not have to do competitions at all if they are too difficult or don't appeal to you. For one of my most recent playthroughs, I wasn't in story mode, and I tried to do every single race until I reached the ones that were too difficult and simply not fun, and then I turned on story mode at that point so that I wasn't forced to take part in an activity that simply wasn't enjoyable for me. While I do think some balancing should be done to make the competitions less frustrating at higher levels, for now I am quite happy being able to simply skip races I don't like. So yeah, story mode. If you don't want to do races, you just switch this between normal and story mode. Like I said, in my last playthrough, I had it just in story mode and I was just doing races as I wanted to. But in this playthrough with Bear, what I did was, I was like, I'm going to do every single race that I can. So I had it on the normal, and I did all of the races, and then I got to some races that just, I couldn't do. They were too hard, and they were just not fun. So for that race, I switched it back. I switched it to story mode, got the quest completed with that, and then I switched it back to normal mode, so that when the next race popped up, it wouldn't automatically complete. You can switch between them. So if there's a particular race that you don't want to be forced to do, you just switch it to story mode, and then that race will be finished. And then you can switch it back after that point, and then, you know, continue on as normal, and you can see if the next race is one that you don't mind doing. So it is very flexible in that, and I am very happy with that. So, all right, the last thing that I added this later is I actually like the daily chores of like this brushing and picking up the poop and all of that. It's just kind of nice to have something. Do you have parents? Did I breed you? I did. Interesting. It's just really nice to have something to do every day. I like feeling like I do need to go out to the pasture and, you know, take care of my horses and, you know, scoop the poop and all of that. I like that. Not everyone does, not everyone will. That's fine. But I do like having to do something every day. It's part of the like gameplay loop, role play, just like it's just nice. I like that. All right. Then the next category is things. Bear, Bear, what are you doing? What you doing? He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. I love Bear. I do wish I'd made a backup of him at a lower level. Okay, so the next category is things I don't like / could be improved / aren't quite as good as other games. I hope I did, you know, show already that I do love this game. It has so many good things. But there are some areas where I do... There's a few different categories within this category. Like, that's why I had all the slashes. Is there are things that genuinely I hope will change because this game is still early access and is still being worked on. There are things that I don't think will change, nor do I necessarily want them to, but I think it's good to compare to other games. So my list is the controls. I hate the camera controls. Let me just read what I've written and then I'll clarify. I quite dislike the controls. They aren't the worst, but they're far from the best. I have a whole video talking about the camera controls, so I won't go into detail here, but basically the camera controls wear out my hand and also give me some motion sickness. So, yes, I have a video on my channel about the camera controls. The actual, like, horse controls. Oh, you're a leopard. Look at you. You're a little fuse spot. Look at you. I didn't even remember this horse. He's pretty. So the actual, like, controls of, like, moving the horse around are pretty good, and I touch on that in the video too. I don't like the on-foot controls really at all. I think that really needs to be improved. But the actual controls of controlling the horse are fine. It's mainly the camera controls that I have a complaint about, and like I said, I have a whole video about that, comparing several different games. So, that's that. The next point on my list is horse genetics. I shall read what I have written. I hesitate to list this as a negative because I do like how the genetics work in Ranch of Rivershine. For those that don't know, it uses extremely simplified genetics. If you breed a black horse with a chestnut horse, you will get either black or chestnut. If you breed a Tobiano with a splash, you will get either Tobiano or splash. There are basically a few slots. There are a few slots for each. I've lost my spot. There are basically a few slots for traits. Base color, modifier, I wrote dilution, pattern, dapple, and hair. I forgot to write hair, but it doesn't matter. We're doing this live. So there are these different slots that you can see on the screen right now. Sadly, you can't stack within the slots. I'm having to modify what I wrote as I'm talking. So if you breed a dun with a cream, you will get either dun or cream. No dun skins in this game, sadly. So while I do like how the inheritance works, the limitation of the slots is saddening. And of course, I will always prefer realistic genetics over simplified genetics, but there is a certain appeal to the way Ranch of Rivershine works, especially for those who don't understand the details of horse genetics. I've been obsessed with horse genetics for over 15 years now, so I understand recessive and dominant genes, but a lot of people don't, and I think Ranch of Rivershine's simplified inheritance is good for people like that. All you have to know is that if a horse has it, it can pass it to the baby. Simple, no hidden genes, nothing. It makes it easy to understand and honestly a lot easier to breed to get what you want. I think I put it pretty well other than a few mistakes that I made. So yeah, as you can see, there are these slots. There's the base color, modifier, pattern, dapple, and hair. I had forgotten about the hair because there's silver, flaxen, and then none. Or base, I guess, as it's listed here. I didn't even know that this little thing existed, this little pop-up, until I saw it in some screenshots. So that's pretty cool that you can actually see that. So yeah, modifiers include like roan, dun, and cream, and you can't stack those, so you can't get, like I said, a dun skin. Patterns are like Tobiano, Splash, Overo, Leopard, and you can't combine those, so there's no Pentalusa. So while I don't dislike the inheritance of like, oh, well, if you breed this and this, then you're going to get this or this, it is kind of sad that it does limit the options of like, you can't combine the things. So I do like it. I don't dislike the inheritance system. It does have limitations. Maybe some of those limitations can be lifted at some point. I find that unlikely. And honestly, I'm not even asking for that. It's just, like I said, this is not a list of the top 10 reasons Ranch of Rivershine is a horrible game. No, that's not what this is. This is me just saying, compared to other games, the color system is limited. But at the same time, being so simplified makes it pretty easy to get what you want within what's available. So I don't dislike this. Some of the limitations are sad, but I'm not really complaining. Okay, but that brings us to... Sorry, my eyes are going cross-eyed for some reason. I probably should have eaten first. I'm kind of getting lightheaded. This isn't good. So the next point on the list, and this is another thing where I'm not actually complaining. I want to preface that. I'm just comparing. Hi, Buttercup. You're adorable. Oh, I think the game's making me dizzy is what it is. All right. So this is what I've written. It's single player. I know so many people are anti-multiplayer right now, but I personally love having games I can play with my family. We don't get to spend much time together in person anymore, as I am sadly, very sadly, a grown adult living apart from them. So video games are where we go to be in the same quote-unquote room. Now, there has been talk about potentially being able to trade horses between games. If that's added, that alone would be huge, because my family love being able to trade things with each other. While ideally we'd like to be in the game together, simply being able to help each other out by sending each other horses we like would greatly improve our experience. I'm of course not here to demand that of the dev. I'm of course not here to demand that the developer of Ranch of Rivershine add any multiplayer features. I'm just listing the reasons why I don't like Ranch of Rivershine quite as much as I could. So that's what I wrote. Like I said, I'm not asking for that to be changed. Some of the modders are talking about making a way that you can trade horses between each other, so we'll see if that pans out. They've already kind of come up with a way to customize horses. So, you know, I don't know necessarily how much value there would be in actually modders making a way to trade horses directly. But either way, one of the major downsides of this game for me personally, and this is just me, this is not me saying, oh, well, it needs... This is just... I've talked about the other game in my other videos. This is my point of view as a player, and other people are going to want and like and dislike different things from me, and that's fine. This is my opinion, okay? But the fact that Ranch of Rivershine isn't multiplayer, has no multiplayer features, is a big downer for me and my family, because we really like being able to play games together. That's why the main game we play is, unfortunately, Horse Isle 3. That is the main game we play, because it is, I think, the only horse game we can play together. I guess technically we could play Star Stable, but that's a whole other rant. But it is, so, you know, Horse Isle 3 is like the only game that we actually really play a lot, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. I think I wrote some stuff about that, but yeah, it just would be nice. That's one of the reasons why I'm so excited for Astride, because how I've been describing Astride, you know, when it's done, hopefully, to my parents, is I've been saying, imagine Ranch of Rivershine, because they love Ranch of Rivershine. As I say, imagine Ranch of Rivershine, but we can go visit each other, and we can trade horses with each other, because I think that is kind of what Astride's going for. Obviously, it's going to be a very different game, but the basis of, like, you having your own ranch, breeding your own horses, having your own storyline, I think that's basically what Ranch of Rivershine is planning on being, with the addition of other players can come visit you, you can go visit other players, and you can trade horses with each other. So that's how I've been describing Astride, is Ranch of Rivershine, but with some multiplayer features to help them understand what Astride hopefully will be. So yeah, that is a downer. And again, that is not me saying, okay, developer, you add multiplayer features to Ranch of Rivershine. I am not saying that. I am literally just comparing it to other games and what my ideal game would be. I don't mind that it doesn't have multiplayer features, really. I say I don't mind, and I just said it's a downer. That's a bit contrary. It's fine. I still play Ranch of Rivershine. I just don't play it as much as I do games that I can do with my family. That's all there is to it. So, next thing on my list. All right. Time passes too fast. No, I'm not talking about the days. I think the length of the day in super slow mode is perfect. While I wouldn't complain about having longer day options are always good, that's not what this section is about. This is about how short pregnancies and growth times are. It really irritates me that in the game we have a signifier for how much time has passed in the form of seasons. While seasons are only 28 days, they are still something... Okay, I didn't finish my thought when I was writing that, but while seasons are only 28 days, they still are something we can easily equate to real life. 4 seasons is a year, regardless of whether they're 28 days or 3 months. Are seasons 3 months? I don't know. I don't know anything about time passage. Why did I write a whole section about time passage when I have time blindness? And yet, horse pregnancies last a fourth of a season, 7 days. Then it's 7 days for the foal to be a young adult and another 7 days for it to be a full adult. That means that in a single season, the real life equivalent of 3 months, a foal can go from not even a twinkle in their parent's eye to having a baby itself. So, this is the one thing that actually really irritates me, and this is nothing. I know, I understand, this is really technically nothing. Oh, okay, sorry, I have more written. I strongly dislike this. It ruins my immersion in the world. It ruins my role play of being a horse breeder. I understand wanting things to go fast in a video game, but I would much prefer for this to be an option. I desperately want this game to let me pick how long it takes for birth and growth. Let other players have their 7-day pregnancies. I want a pregnancy to last a realistic amount of time. I want foals to take years to grow up. So it just really irritates me that we have seasons which tell us how much time has passed, equivalent to real life, and then we still have pregnancies that are 7 days. 7 days! I'm sorry, that just bothers me. I know I'm weird, okay? I'm sorry. I just really wish that it was an option to make pregnancies last a realistic amount of time and make foals take a realistic amount of time to grow up. Yeah, that's about it. Oh. Whoops. Okay. So, next thing on my list is, similarly, I feel training goes too fast. Once again, I understand wanting things to progress quickly in a game, but also, once again, it ruins my immersion and roleplay. One of the things I like about this game is how slow and chill it is, but some aspects just go way too fast. So yeah, I kind of like the slow pace of this game, but then breeding and aging, they just go so fast. They just go so fast. So I do wish that we had an option to slow those things down. The last thing in this section is competitions. I wrote, some of them are overly difficult and simply not fun. As mentioned before, I can and do skip those, but I don't like having to skip them. I like the feeling of accomplishment that comes with completing a competition. I wish they were more fun and less frustrating. So that's very subjective. All this is very subjective, but like, I don't know, some of the competitions are just overly complicated and they're just not fun. But I don't like that I'm skipping them. So, you know, I'm not demanding that be changed. I can continue to skip them. It won't, you know, stop me from playing. You know, it's just a little thing that, I wouldn't call it a little thing, but it is a thing that it's not my ideal. So that is it for the things I don't like / could be improved / aren't quite as good as other games list. Then we move on to overall. So these are my overall thoughts. Let me think if there's anything else I want to say before I get into that. I don't think so. Well, I did fail. Okay, one thing that I failed to mention that I like about the game is that I do like the collectibles spread around. Because one of the things I like about Horse Isle 3 is being able to find things out in the world and pick them up. One of my complaints about that is that I have to get off my horse to pick things up, and once again, I don't like the on-foot controls, so that's very irritating. In addition, I mean, the way that the camera moves when you get off and on, it really nauseates my mom, so she just doesn't get off the horse, which means she doesn't collect all the stuff, which makes the game less fun. So that is a big complaint that I didn't write down. Hi, little foal. You're so cute. Yeah, I think that's the only thing that I forgot to write down. So, overall, this is what I have written. I love Ranch of Rivershine. I think it's an amazing game and continues to improve. At the time of writing this, and recording this, the beta branch with personalities and the round pen is available, but I haven't tested it as I've been too busy, and also really, I don't want to do the beta right now. I kind of just don't. There are aspects of Ranch of Rivershine that I hope will be improved, like the camera controls and more time passage options, but I do think this is a very good game, even right now in early access. If you haven't purchased Ranch of Rivershine yet, I do highly suggest checking it out. I do hope it's clear that my criticisms aren't coming from a place of disliking this game as it is. I'm not trying to discourage anyone from buying it, nor criticize anyone for liking it. I love it, it just has a few aspects that I hope will improve, such as camera controls, and a few aspects that I don't actually want changed. I just felt I needed to compare them to other games, such as the lack of multiplayer and the genetics. If you love horse games, Ranch of Rivershine absolutely is one you should look into. The graphics are beautiful, the horses are adorable, the foals are the cutest things you'll ever see, and the gameplay is fun and flexible. As far as horse games go right now, it's the only one I would highly recommend. While there are other games I play more than Ranch of Rivershine, like Horse Isle 3 and Rival Stars Horse Racing, those aren't games I can feel comfortable recommending to just anyone. Ranch of Rivershine is. So, that's all I wrote. Ranch of Rivershine is not the game I play the most, and the reasons for that are basically what I listed in the previous category of it's not multiplayer, camera controls are kind of an issue, kind of a big issue. I think those are really the main reasons that I don't play Ranch of Rivershine as much as I do like Horse Isle 3 or even Rival Stars. I'm not sure that I play Rival Stars more than Ranch of Rivershine. I maybe about equal, because Rival Stars also isn't fully multiplayer, but it does have a multiplayer feature where I can race the horses that I've bred against horses that my friends have bred. So that's really fun. So it's a very minor multiplayer feature, but it's enough to make me go, oh yeah, I'll play that, and then I can spend time with my family doing that. So, yeah, there's that. So, yeah, it's... Horse Isle 3 is the game I play the most. It has a lot of problems. Like horses dying. But it's a game that I can play with my family, so that makes me play it more. And it has realistic genetics and everything, but it also is not a game that I easily recommend to people. I actually, in the Ranch of Rivershine Discord, some people were like, oh, maybe I should join, Horse Isle. And I was like, you can, and I will help you out. And I have helped them out. I gave them a lot of money and resources. But it is actively hostile to new players. That's the phrase I use. It is actively hostile to new players, and they soon learned what I meant. It is very difficult to get started. That's not to say it's not a fun game. And I'm talking about Horse Isle, not Ranch of Rivershine. I'm just saying why I would recommend Ranch of Rivershine over the games that I actually play a lot more than Ranch of Rivershine. Because the games that I play a lot more are not really as user-friendly, or just, like, Rival Stars is a very different type of horse game. I'm not saying it's hard to play, but it is a very different type of horse game than what you would think of as a horse game, because it wasn't meant to be a horse game. It was meant to be a sports game. And, they've made a lot of adjustments over the years to make it a much better game for horse enthusiasts, but it still is what it is. and that might not appeal to everyone. So it's not a game that I recommend to just anyone. It is a very good game. I do think it's a very good game. It's just not a game that I easily recommend to just anyone. If anyone asks me, hey, should I get this? I'm always like, well, it has this, this, and this. I like it. Not everyone does. And same with Horse Isle is that Horse Isle is a game that I would that I really hesitate to recommend to anyone for various reasons that I will not get into here. This is not a drama channel or anything. It's just that the gameplay itself is very difficult for new people, and even for established players. Horse Isle is work, like, to upkeep, especially because your horses will die on you if you don't, like, if you need to go on a break for 6 months, you come back, your horses are all dead, and all of your hard work is gone. So that's very upsetting. So it's just not a game that I easily recommend to people, but it is a game that I play more than any other horse game. So, yeah, as far as games that I recommend, Ranch of Rivershine. This is, at this moment, let's see, what's today's date? It is June 6th, 2024, 6 p.m. As of right this moment, this is the horse game that I recommend to horse game enthusiasts or someone who just, wants to check out a horse game. Because I think this game is the embodiment of a horse game, and it is the only one that is currently available that is the embodiment of that, in my opinion. That is my opinion. There are games that are upcoming that I am very excited about. There's Tales of Rain Ravine that looks like it's going to be amazing, but that is not out yet. And so I haven't played it, so I've played the demo, but as far as the actual gameplay goes, I don't really know what it's going to be about, but I don't know what it's going to be like. But I am looking forward to it. And there's, of course, Astride, which arguably not a game yet. Very excited for it to progress, but it's not a game yet. It's still barely more than a tech demo or proof of concept. And they're constantly improving it, and I am happy to see that and support them and help to make that a good game, but it is not a game yet. Star Stable is not what I would call a horse game how I would think of it, because growing up I played horse games where you took care of the horse, you fed them, you cleaned their hooves, and you had to learn how to ride them and stuff. And I guess technically Star Stable, you feed them, you clean their hooves, but it's mostly a game where you ride around on a pretty horse and you do quests, which the game itself is not really based around the horse that you're riding. I don't know how to describe it. I might make a whole video about Star Stable and why it's just not a very fun game for me. It's a really fun game if what you want to do is ride a pretty horse around a pretty world. And I do like to do that sometimes. So I do play Star Stable occasionally. I missed out on one of the sales because I missed that it was going to be for a week, and so I didn't get a horse that I wanted to get. But oh well. So I do like Star Stable for, what it is. But it's arguably not in the same genre as Ranch of Rivershine. I know I compared the graphics, but, both of them have really good graphics, but as far as gameplay goes, it's a completely different animal. I'm trying to think what other horse games. I would also not necessarily call, Rival Stars or Horse Isle horse games in the same genre as Ranch of Rivershine. Ranch of Rivershine is kind of right now the only game that embodies parts of horse games that I really liked as a child. So now there is an upcoming horse game. I want to get the name right. Fernhoof Grove, and that looks like that is going to be an amazing horse game. It's going to have some of the same some of the same things as Ranch of Rivershine that make it where I'm probably not going to play it as much as multiplayer games, because it is going to be a single player game. But it is looking really good, and it looks like it's going to go into some of the detail of caring for horses, but it isn't going to have breeding, as far as I can tell, because it looks like the story is going to be you're a student at a riding school. which is great. Love that, because that's what the original games that I played as a child were. So that seems like that's going to be an actual horse game as I knew as a child, but brought into, you know, the 2020s. You know, my 1990s horse games or early 2000s horse games brought into the 2020s with the aspects of gameplay that I liked as a child with beautiful 3D graphics. I am very excited for Fernhoof Grove. But yeah, Ranch of Rivershine right now, in this moment, is the only horse game that I will just recommend to anyone who wants to play a horse game. There are a lot of improvements that are coming. There are a lot of gameplay. There's a lot of gameplay that's coming. It is early access, but even right now, there is so much to do and so many different ways to play. So I highly recommend you check it out. I'm not saying, oh, go buy it. I'm just saying check it out. Think about it. Watch other reviews, read other reviews, watch other videos, and, judge for yourself if this is a game that you would, that you would like. I think it is worth looking into, and honestly, I just think any horse game enthusiast really needs to check it out. So thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that I am so all over the place. I hope this video was helpful to someone. I kind of just wanted to get my thoughts out there. Whether anyone watches this or not, whatever, but, maybe someone will and be like, oh yeah, I should check out Ranch of Rivershine. That does look like a good game. Or maybe they'll go, oh, well, that doesn't look like I want what I want. I'm glad I saved my money. And either way, I'm so happy to have helped anybody either direction, because I just like helping people, and I like making videos about horse games, and I like to talk. So I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't, please check out my camera controls video. Thank you, motorcycle, for driving past really loudly again. Check out my camera controls video. I think that's a really important one to see about what I think needs to be improved about various camera controls in horse games. So, yes, please check that out and add your thoughts about camera controls in the comments if you wish. But, yeah, I will see you in the next video.